Welcome to Modern Management of the Older Adult, brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the MMOA podcast. My name is Kay Mayordomo. I'm an outpatient physical therapist in Palo Alto, California, and a TA with the Older Adult Division of the Institute of Clinical Excellence. Today, we're going to dive into how hiking can benefit older adults, particularly about inactive older adults. So if you're like me and love to go outside, taking in the fresh air, getting some time away from the city, chatting it up with your friends, you'll be excited to hear that we actually have research on how inactive older adults feel about hiking and how we can use this to make a recommendation for our patients. For some of our patients, participating in regular physical activity is tough for a lot of different reasons, and this could lead to potentially more disability or more comorbidities the older one gets. So first, we're going to talk about why this is important. So in the US, older adults will be about a fourth of our population by 2034. There's something called the expansion or morbidity hypothesis, suggesting that longer life can come with higher disease incidence and that this will leave older adults living with disability as they end near the end of their lives. So in the article that we're going to dive into, there was a great line that said, aging well is defined as a continuous process of optimizing opportunities to maintain and improve physical and mental health, independence, and quality of life throughout the life course. Hiking could be a great way to help people meet ACSM physical activity guidelines for their mental and physical health. It also could be a way to get inactive older adults a more challenging version of walking outside, especially for those who need something more interesting to engage in physical activity. So let's dive into the study. The study is called a qualitative study exploring inactive older adults' experience with group-based hiking program. So they took 10 female Caucasian participants who participated in a twice-a-week hiking program for 8 weeks. Each hike was 60 minutes. Groups were formed based on self-reported activity levels. So one group were already meeting the current physical activity guidelines of 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity per week, and the other group were not meeting that guideline. So these hikes were rated as easy to moderate, and only the participants in the inactive group were asked to do a semi-structured interview to see what they thought about hiking. So from interviewing these older adults, they found that they believed they had improvements in their physical fitness, they benefited from being outdoors, and found that the group format was important in helping them maintain consistent and accountable. So some of them did think that doing the same trail started to get repetitive, and that definitely tells us a lot about having novelty and variety in physical activity routines to help with adherence. And for some, being in nature was a really good distraction from the difficulty of hiking, which is a good comparison to indoor physical activity, which may be a barrier for some, especially older adults who just think it's boring. They feel like a hamster on a wheel. There was a previous study that found that adults in the US who participated in physical activity participated in outdoor physical activity did more physical activity than those who only did indoor physical activity. I mean, if you're like some people who can get a good hike in for more than a few hours, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3, maybe 5, but going on a treadmill for 20 minutes feels boring. You just can't do it. You're just like, 20 minutes, there's nothing to look at. You're staring at a wall, maybe a TV screen. It's just not the same as being outdoors. So in my head, it kind of makes sense that the people who did outdoor physical activity were able to do more than the people who just did a workout indoors. Nature has also been studied to have positive benefits in mood disorders and stress and enhanced relaxation. And that's definitely something that we can get from the research studied. So the particular study we're talking about, there were definitely some limitations. The sample size was really small. There were only women participants, which means we can't really extrapolate whether we get the same opinions from our male counterparts. They also found that participants were on the younger age of the older adult age range, and this small group may have already represented a more highly motivated and more confident subset of the inactive group. So what can we recommend to our older adult patients to get started? So this was a really small study, but I think we can still gather something from it, and also from experience and what we've heard from patients. What we can gather is that if we take the right participants who may already have an interest and are motivated to hike, or they can't do physical activity indoors because it's boring to them and they just can't do it, and they need the fresh air, they need the difference in environment and things to look at, those people would be great to recommend this to. You can make recommendations to do some guided hikes. The Meetup app is a good app where you can find activities to do with other people who have the same interests, and sometimes even same level. So if you wanted to only do easy hikes to start off, you could probably find a group to do that. Or if you were wanting something more moderate, you can find something like that too. You could have suggest that their kids or grandkids lead a hike for them. That way they also get to spend time with them, or having them set up a hike with friends so that they could have that social interaction, which we know is super, super important as well. Or you could plan a group hike for your patients. Then, if we do something like that, we can definitely be successful in making a recommendation for our patients to improve their physical activity, engagement, and adherence. They could be that much closer to meeting the ACSM physical activity guidelines rather than just feeling like they can only last 20 minutes on a hamster wheel, on a treadmill, indoors, or on a bike. So, as a recap, finding novel ways for older adults to participate in physical activity is important, because our older adults are about to make up a fourth of our population, and this can really help set them up for success as they age. A group-based hiking program would not only positively influence the amount of physical activity an older adult gets who was previously inactive, but it could also improve other aspects of their health, such as having improved accountability due to the group setting and having better mood and decreased stress. So we can start by recommending patients do a guided hike, such as using the Meetup app, asking their kids or grandkids or their friends to go on a hike with them, or planning a hike for your patients to help set them up for success in meeting physical activity guidelines. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for listening. If you are interested in learning more about older adults in terms of physical therapy and occupational therapy, we have a few ICE older adult live courses coming up. So March 15 to 16, we have older adult live coming to Sparks, Glencoe, Maryland. March 22nd to 23rd will be in Lamont, Illinois. April 5th to 6th will be in Longmont, Colorado. And if you can't make those and you're still kind of in the beginning of your ICE older adult course journey, then older adult level 1 online will be starting March 17th and will go on till May 11th. All right. I hope you guys all had a great Monday. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the MMOA podcast. If you found this helpful, please share with someone that could benefit. And if you're looking for more practical content to help you better serve older adults, head over to www.mmoa.online, where you can learn more about our free resources, our community, continuing education courses, and our certification. Once again, that's www.mmoa.online. Thanks for listening.